Have you ever wondered why some Gospels were buried, hidden from the world for nearly 2,000 years? Among them lies a mysterious scroll, not of miracles or commandments, but of riddles. The Gospel of Thomas begins not with a story, but a statement. Whoever discovers the meaning of these words will not taste death. What does that even mean? It doesn't speak of sin or salvation, but something deeper, something that echoes in your bones when you hear it. This is not a gospel for believers. It is for seekers, for those who feel deep down that truth was never meant to be worshipped, but remembered, not preached, but lived. Why was this gospel cast aside? Why did it threaten the guardians of dogma? Because it claimed the kingdom is not above or after, but within, and those who look shall see.
Most people read scriptures looking for commandments or divine approval, but the Gospel of Thomas doesn't offer either. Instead, it hands you a mirror. Its sayings are not explanations, they are reflections. Line after line, it invites you not to believe, but to see. Split a piece of wood, and I am there. Lift the stone, and you will find me there. These are not metaphors, they are invitations to perceive what has always been present, hiding in plain sight. Thomas doesn't talk about the crucifixion, resurrection, or final judgment. It talks about awareness, about remembering who you are before the world told you who to be. That is why it was dangerous, because it doesn't create followers, it creates awakeners. This gospel doesn't ask for worship. It dares you to look inward, to peel away the layers of illusion, and to find the sacred spark within. And when you do, death loses its grip. Not because your body will survive, but because yourself was never bound by it in the first place. Each saying in the Gospel of Thomas is like a key, cut in silence, shaped for the lock of the soul. If those who lead you say, "Look, the kingdom is in the sky," then the birds will get there first. If they say, "It is in the sea," then the fish will beat you to it. Rather, the kingdom is inside you and outside you. What kind of teaching dares to dissolve the line between divine and human? One that sees no separation, only forgetting. This gospel whispers what dogma shouts over, that divinity is not distant, it's immediate, accessible, alive within you, and it doesn't require rituals, priests, or holy buildings. It requires a question, one real question, asked with the silence of your bones. Who am I beneath the names, beyond the roles? Thomas offers no answers, just mirrors. Because truth isn't delivered, it's revealed when the seeker is ready. And maybe that's the reason it was hidden, because most would rather be told what to believe than be shown how to see. You didn't find this video by accident. Subscribe and follow the thread back to yourself. The Gospel of Thomas challenges the very foundation of what we've been taught to believe. It doesn't follow the pattern of other religious texts, nor does it attempt to enforce laws or offer promises. Instead, it encourages us to break free from the prison of external validation and look inward. When you make the two one, it says, and when you make the inside like the outside, and the outside like the inside, and the above like the below, then you will enter the kingdom. This is not a call for mystical isolation. It is a call for unity, for the recognition that the universe is not divided into separate parts, but is a unified whole. The body, the mind, and the spirit, when aligned, become the vessel of true consciousness. Thomas reveals a path where opposites cease to exist, where there is no division between light and dark, male and female, good and evil. It is a message of liberation, not by abandoning the world, but by understanding it as it truly is. The kingdom, as Thomas teaches, is not something to be found outside, but something to be realized within. And when we understand that, we are free to live in harmony with the world, without the need to control it. One of the most striking things about the Gospel of Thomas is what it doesn't say. There is no mention of original sin, no talk of punishment, no hellfire waiting for disbelievers. Instead, there is a deep insistence on remembering. If you bring forth what is within you, what you bring forth will save you. If you do not bring forth what is within you, what you do not bring forth will destroy you. These words don't threaten, they awaken. They suggest that salvation isn't external. It is the act of uncovering, of peeling away everything you've been told, until only what is remains. The teachings of Thomas don't ask you to believe. They challenge you to see, to notice the illusions we've mistaken for truth, to stop searching the sky for heaven and start remembering the sacred ground beneath your feet. This gospel doesn't provide comfort. It provides confrontation, a mirror, not a sermon. And for many, that was too dangerous. Because once a person realizes that the divine lives inside them, they stop being controlled by fear, and that more than anything is the ultimate revolution. Many scholars dismiss the Gospel of Thomas as non-canonical, calling it heretical or irrelevant. But perhaps it wasn't excluded because it lacked truth, but because it held too much of it. This gospel doesn't give you a ladder to climb. It removes the illusion that you were ever below. It doesn't promise a reward in the afterlife. It points to a treasure buried now, here, beneath the noise of thought. In saying 3, Jesus tells Thomas, "The kingdom is within you, and it is outside of you. When you come to know yourselves, then you will be known. There is no Savior coming. There is no path to wait for. There is only the unveiling of what was always there. And perhaps that's why so many rejected it. Because it refuses to give power to temples, to systems, to middlemen. It gives power back to you. It asks nothing but honesty, and that, for a system built on control, is unacceptable. So they hid it, buried it, branded it as myth. But the soul knows truth when it hears it, and this gospel speaks in the voice your soul remembers, even if your mind has forgotten. The Gospel of Thomas never asks for blind faith. It asks for direct experience. It doesn't demand allegiance to a creed, but invites you to see the divine as an unfolding presence, not a distant idea. This gospel is not about salvation later, it's about awakening now. And awakening, as Thomas frames it, isn't an escape from the world. It's a return to it, with new eyes. What you look for has already come, but you do not recognize it. This line isn't just poetic, it's diagnostic. We keep seeking outside for what's already alive within us. The miracle isn't coming, it is. But until the inner eye opens, we walk right past it. And this is the danger of forgetting, not that we are lost, but that we no longer remember being found. Thomas leaves breadcrumbs, not answers, not dogma, breadcrumbs. Traces of a knowing that's ancient, yet still breathing in every sincere question we dare to ask. And if you follow that thread, not through belief, but through awareness, you begin to remember what your soul never forgot. This is why the Gospel of Thomas was hidden, not because it lacked value, but because it threatened the systems built on distance, fear, and dependence. It teaches that awakening is not a reward, it's a return. That enlightenment doesn't belong to saints or scholars, but to anyone willing to look with honest eyes. In the silence between its lines, it invites us to die, not in flesh, but in illusion, to let the false self fall away and stand naked in the presence of what is. And that is terrifying to institutions built on answers, because this gospel does not give you answers. It gives you back your questions, and in doing so, it restores your power. That's why it had to be forgotten, so that you would forget yourself. But now it's resurfacing, not as doctrine, not as religion, but as a whisper, a quiet invitation to remember, to step beyond belief and into knowing. And maybe that's what it means to not taste death, not escaping the end, but remembering there was never one to begin with. Because what dies is not you. What's real in you was never born and can never be lost. Not to live forever, but to realize you were never separate from life itself. What if the truth they erased was the one thing that could set you free?